The Cheeseboy 628 Show, starring Cheeseboy 628.
Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Cheeseboy628 here today giving you an OU Pokemon Showdown battle. Now the team I'm using today is a team made by my buddy MrFelco, who I am so thankful for because he gave me this fantastic team, and the team is so very good. And if you don't believe me, this man made it to #1 on the OU beta ladder a while back with this team. This very team. So I've noticed that when I've lost with this team, it's just because I've made stupid plays. I am in love with this team. MrFelco never disappoints. Anyway, what this team's about is it's based on Mega Kangaskhan, and from there we have a wall-breaking Aegislash, and then a pretty ridiculously awesome defensive core of Rotom Cut, Tentacruel, Skarmory, and Tyranitar. Now looking at my opponent's team, it's pretty darn ridiculous. Just a ton of defensive pokes. There's only a couple things that can set up and Shuckle if you're really trying to be that guy. Maybe Klefki, I have seen a Calm Mindset, which is actually pretty effective. But other than that, it's a ton of defensive pokes. If he does have a Mega, it's going to be Mega Blastoise. But for the most part, I don't see many threats. And even if he tries to set up a ton of hazards, he doesn't have a Ghost, and I do have a Spinner, so I should be fine. Let's see how this battle goes. So I absolutely love using Mega Kangaskhan, so I thought, hey, might as well try it out first turn, get up some power-up punches to make it really threatening. What I forgot was that Klefki kind of has that T-Wave, and this is more of a speedy variant with max speed, max attack instead of being bulky with max HP. But nonetheless, I think I'm going to do some decent damage. With all these power-up punches, I'm getting to max attack. I am super threatening right now. But the problem is I'm confused, do a ton of damage to myself, and since I'm T-waved, I am slower and die from that foul play easily. So down goes Mega Kangaskhan just due to my own fault. Now, I bring in Skarmory because I pretty much wall this thing. I know something has to get T-waved, so it might as well be Skarmory, right? Well, I could go into Rotom Cut, but it really can't do anything back necessarily. Maybe a Volt Switch could break it, but it's more defensive. Now he goes for the foul play. I do switch out because I don't want too many swaggers to interfere with me trying to set up hazards. So therefore I do go right back to Skarmory. Here he might not realize that electric types don't get T-waved. I think I was having the same thought process at that time. But nonetheless, I am just setting up as many hazards as I can now. Sure, he has a Spinner, but I do have Aegislash, and with Shadow Ball, since I'm a wall breaker, I'm going to do a decent amount to that fortress. Now I can get up one more layer of spikes as this fortress comes in, but I do get paralyzed, but I'm sure I can set up my hazards some other time. Plus I have rocks with T-Tar. Now I go into Aegislash, the obvious switch. I don't want him spinning away my hazards. Now I can easily go for the Shadow Ball and take him out. This Aegislash does carry the King Shield with 3 attacking moves, and now the Rotom Wash comes in, and I feel like there's no real reason to stay in. The Willow is pretty obvious if it is a defensive variant, and turns out he does go for it. Now I bring in my Rotom Cut, and I'm pretty much free to go for the Volt Switch here. He's definitely intimidated by the Leaf Storm. Now the Shuckle's in, and I'm kind of scared of it. I don't really know what it's going to do yet. But I'm going to go for the Safe Skull because I want to get it down as soon as possible in case it's that contrary Shell Smash or just maybe it's Acupressure. I don't know. Shuckle's full of shenanigans. But now Rotom Wash is back in. I don't want anything to take some status besides this Rotom Cut here. And now I'm thinking he's probably going to switch again, but turns out he doesn't. I know the hazards are a lot of pressure on him. So I'm going to go out to my Tentacruel, and I'm pretty much free to just go for the Toxic here. Able to wither down this Rotom Wash. Maybe his Florges does carry the Aromatherapy, but I should be fine. But now he does go for the Volt Switch, and he turns out he does go into his Florges now. Perfect time for him to go for the Aromatherapy or Wish if he does feel like it, because Rotom Cut can't really do anything to him. So I'm going to go for the Volt Switch, bring in my Aegislash, and hope that I can do a decent amount of damage to it. Although I know without Swords Dance I'm kind of lacking a bit of power, but it should still do a decent amount. Now it brings in Fortress, and I really have no idea why. I guess he's setting up his rocks for little reason really. He should have had a better time to use it, maybe against like a physical attacker of mine like T-Tar. But nonetheless, he does go for it. And here I play it rather risky, and I do bring in Tentacruel right on this Rotom Wash. And I'm hoping with the bulk that I have I should take a hit Turns out I barely take that Volt Switch, able to Rapid Spin, get those rocks out of here, and I'm going to die at the end of this turn, which is actually perfect because now I can bring in Rotom C, and I'm free to just threaten him with the Volt Switch or the Leaf Storm, whatever I desire. I know the Leaf Storm is very threatening, so I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch, switch out of there, and go into my T-Tar. I know that the Sandstorm will give him the Spadef boost, but I do carry the Rock Slide, and it turns out that Shuckle's rather frail and just dies rather easily to that Rock Slide, and I am a defensive variant. Now the Blastoise is in, and it turns out it does carry the Aura Sphere. It is Mega, so it does have that Mega Launcher. And so here I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball, get the crit. Not too big of a deal since I do have Rotom C still. But now he brings in Rotom Wash, and I don't want that thing willowing me or anything, but I'm just going to sack Skarmory. Skarmory really can't do much anymore here. It doesn't have any steel moves to hit that Florges with, and I'm just going to let it die after a couple hits. Turns out he just goes to the Hydro Pump, finishes me off, and now I'm free to go back into my Rotom Cut, easily threaten him with that Leaf Storm, and he knows it's very threatening, so he's going to Volt Switch right out of there and have Florges eat up whatever I go for. But I am going to go for the Volt Switch, and now I'm free to go into my Aegislash, but the problem is I don't really have anything to hit this Florges super hard, so I'm just hoping that Aegislash can do enough damage, but he lives really easily, goes for the Wish, and if he does carry the Protect, this will be a huge problem. But I'm just going to go for the Shadow Sneak again, and he just gets some recovery with his Rotom Wash. Now this was a weird play because now his Florges is just going to die from Hazards plus Sandstorm for sure as soon as it comes back in. So as soon as this Rotom Wash goes down, it's basically GG. Sure, you may go for the Willow here, and it'll harm my T-Tar a bit, but I'm not too worried because once its health goes down, hey, I can go into my Rotom Cut, easily go for the Leaf Storm and take him out. And I do go for the rocks just in case that Florges lives with just the tiniest smidgen of health and is able to get some wish recovery, and I certainly don't want that. So I'm just going to keep on going for crunches to get a tad bit of damage. If I get some defense drop, sure, that'll be helpful, but in the end, I'm sure a Leaf Storm will probably be able to take it out, even if I'm a defensive Rotom Cut like I am. Now he does bring in Florges, and it turns out it barely lives the spikes, so it's a good thing I got the rocks up, especially since the Sandstorm ended right there. So now he brings in Rotom Wash for one last time, and as long as I hit this Leaf Storm, it's going to be GG. I don't care if he goes for the rest and he has that Chesto. It turns out he doesn't even have the Chesto because he is lefties after all. And the Leaf Storm actually barely misses on the kill. But I actually do carry the T-Bolt, and since it has that wonderful 100% accuracy, it's going to easily take out that Rotom Wash, and it's going to be a great game. And I hope you all enjoyed. I know the team that I faced was rather gimmicky, but it was pretty close compared to the other ones that I had where I basically swept a ton of opponents because this team is so fantastic. Thank you, MrFelco, for this wonderful team. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, sub, and until later, peace.